What's up YouTube, I'm Twisted, and today we have another day of spoiler season for the next expansion of Legends of Runeterra. And it seems like today we have the cards for the followers whose cards we saw yesterday, so let's check them out. So first we got Spectral Surveyor. As I mentioned yesterday, all of these followers seem to be connected in some way. That's definitely something we should keep in mind when looking at their artwork and reading their flavor. This person right here seems to be in the Shadow Wells because these seem to be the ruins of Ilia. Also, I really like their companions, that's really cool. One thing that all of these followers will likely have in common is that they are from one region, but they are in another region. As I said, he's probably on the Shadow Isles, but he's clearly from Targon. We can see that he has gems around his neck, but also on his staff. And even these purple tattoos that he has on his forehead are sort of similar to tattoos that we've seen on other Targon followers. As I mentioned yesterday, all of these followers have this medallion right here, which as of right now I don't know what this means, but let's check out his flavor and try to find out. The terrain is inscrutable, the visibility close to none. I have encountered enemies at every turn, but strangely, unexpected allies too. I assume he is talking about these spirits right here. From the expedition records of the Explorers Guild Far Reaches Division, a location Shadow Isles. Very interesting. So, in case you didn't know, the Explorers Guild is a faction in Piltover, and it's actually, I guess you could say, a club that Ezreal would love to be part of. Unfortunately, they do not allow him in, because let's be honest, Ezreal is kind of a loser. Unfortunately, we haven't seen much of the Explorers Guild in Legends of Runeterra because all the cards related to that faction are exclusive to the Path of Champions game mode. For example, we have here the Charming guild member, and his flavor also mentions the Explorers Guild. Also, I didn't mention, but this follower is a multi-region follower, and one of his regions is Targon, confirming that that's where he's from. Which is interesting because the Explorers Guild is in Piltover. Another thing to mention is that with these new followers comes a new type of spell called Explorer Spell, and I will be checking out these after the followers. Orange Acquisitioner. So this character is clearly an Noxian. We can see that from the armor, from the reds, from the fact that they have a basilisk, and also to the runic armor, which is similar to the sword of Riven and to the powers of the Runeweaver. And we can see that they are in some kind of Shuriman tomb. There's even a little statue here of what seems to be a jackal head, so Nasus. They also have the medallion, like the other follower, and they also seem to be some kind of explorer. Also, I'm just noticing that the basilisk doesn't have 4 legs, it only has 2, which is strange. I assume this was intentional, but I don't think we've ever seen a basilisk with only 2 members. You'd think it would be easier to dig in the desert, but no. Given enough time, sand readily turns to stone, once again requesting funding for replacement tools. From the expedition records of the Explorers Guild Far Reaches Division, allocation Shurima. So yeah, obviously, Noxian in Shurima again. Portal Pioneer, and this time it's a Bandle City Ionia follower. Okay, so they are clearly in the Bandle tree, and as you can see, they also have the medallion. This time it's on the companion. That's also a theme so far with all of these followers, is that they have some sort of companion. The guy in the Shadow Isles had 2 spirits, the Noxian had a basilisk, and now this Yordle has a dog. I'm not sure who or what this creature here is supposed to be. I wonder if it's the monster that Kennen is fighting, or maybe Tristana. Probably Kennen makes more sense because they are Ionian, but I'm not really sure. I'm worried about Bunches. Oh, he seems more and more nervous these days. Even a short portal hop worries him. I can't understand why. From the expedition records of the Explorers Guild Far Reaches Division, a location Bandle City. Okay, now this is super weird. Are you telling me that the Explorers Guild of Piltover has a special allocation division for Bandle City? Cries in Jinx comic. Scholarly Pioneer. And this time we got the Demacian in Freljord. And we can see here that they are in the Tipsy All Tavern. And we can see here the Tavern Keeper and his All Companion. The character itself doesn't look that Demacian, but I guess if you are going to the Freljord, you have to dress appropriately, right? And I think it's funny that they are reading a book about Yordles. If I zoom here, you can see that he's reading about Yordles, which is really funny. And besides that, I don't think there's much to this artwork, but it's neat to see the Tavern Keeper again. Oh, I almost forgot. They have a shovel. The other characters also had some kind of digging or mining gear, which I guess makes sense if they are explorers. It's cold, I'm cold, everything is cold, all the time. There are some places people just aren't meant to live. Please send me somewhere warm after this. From the expedition records of the Explorers Guild, Far Reaches Division, allocation, Freljord. Poor guy. Octo Adventurer. And this time we have a Bilgewater PNZ follower. Odd specimen, very blue, eyes quite large, uncomfortably large. Will acquire for further study. From the expedition records of the Explorers Guild Far Reaches Division, allocation Piltover? Well, Piltover is the second region here, but the character seems to be from Piltover, while the background seems to be in Bilgewater. This is a bit weird because so far all of the allocations mentioned reflect the region where the follower is. So for example, allocation Shurima, the character is in Shurima. However, here the allocation is Piltover and there's a pirate dude here. So maybe they just made a mistake, I don't know. This character also has a medallion. I think the only one that didn't have one was the Demacian Freljord follower. In the flavor they are talking about this Alcat here that they are thinking about buying or acquiring, as they say. And yeah, this is clearly in a market in Bilgewater, and they are clearly from Zorn. We can see here the Chemtech empowered limbs, or I guess suit, if the character is just the octopus here. Alright, now let's look at the new spells that these followers generate. Explorer's Blunder. We can clearly see the Octo Adventurer, poor guy, was little crack, became big one, now very dried out. Explorer's Malfunction. Alright, and we have a clock here with the same symbol as the medallion, which seems to be some kind of arrow or shovel with a magnifying glass in the middle. It seems the Isles have come to enjoy my company. Spectral Surveyor. Okay, so this is the first follower we saw today, the Shadow Isles Targon follower. And there's not that much to be said about the artwork. It seems that their compass was broken by the spirits of the Isles. Explorer's Refreshments. Get me some of that, chocolatey stuff you make. Best chocolatey stuff within 2 days travel. Oh, and extra hot, please. Scholarly Pioneer. Okay, so this is a quote by the Demacian Freljord follower. And this seems to be just hot chocolate. And I assume this is the emblem of the guild. We can actually see it much better here. Explorer's Excavation. A little damage to the artifacts is no problem. Makes them seem more authentic. Armed Acquisitioner. So we can see here the runic shovel that he uses. These are some very interesting followers. I wonder why they are being released right now. I'm not really sure if they are like teasing a new champion that is going to be some kind of explorer, or if they are like giving these tools, these spells to all of the regions, right? So for example, instead of running Crumble, you can run the Spectral Surveyor. I think that's what they are going for. However, it would be really cool if we got some kind of explorer champion. We do know that some of the champions that were rotated and are now not available in standard will eventually come back to standard with some changes to their gameplay. I think Vladimir so far is the only example of a rework, but I could totally see Ezreal also getting a rework and finally getting his modern League and Wild Rift design instead of the pre-rework one that it's still on his cards. But maybe that's just too much copying on my part. So yeah, these were today's cards. If I missed anything, let me know down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.